Okay, I got the idea for this video also in the bath the other night. Um, and I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go over. Uh, Somewhere in my practice of brahmacharya, years and years and years into it, I think about 4 or 5 years into it, I asked a friend of mine, just out of curiosity, because of a lot of the feedback that I got from people, mostly angry, a lot like what vegetarians sometimes get back from meat eaters. And so I wanted to know why this practice was so difficult for some people to fathom. And I asked a good friend of mine. I said, uh, "What what exactly does it feel like for you when you go a period of time without sex?" And uh, his answer was very simple, and at a later date, it made perfect sense. What he said was simply that it feels sort of like you gotta pee. uh, and then, and it's sort of a big deal until you do. And at that time, I could grasp the answer, but not really fully understand it, because of course I had no such sensations of any such urgency. So maybe a year, maybe 2 years later, I don't know, something like this, um, all of a sudden I felt it. This sexual energy that was very centered in the correct region, and that felt like I had to pee. And so I wrote him, and I'm like, oh my God. I feel it. I get it. I get it. Okay. And I was like, wow, so that took me 6 years to feel, whereas for most people, it probably would have happened much sooner. Now, this is going to tie into my endeavor here. Um, Once I began feeling the vibrations, once I began waking up into that feeling that felt like I was being electrocuted, um, and into the vibrations, I began to realize why my feet were getting hot. And I began to feel the intense energy coursing through my whole body, but in particular the legs. This is where it was getting felt the most. And I understand right now that had I been a standard member of society, had I been a sexually active person, that, um, well, in the same way that most people are, uh, I understood that, again, were I someone who had sex on a regular basis, I could very easily have misunderstood the vibrations, the higher energy, the reworking of the physical body system simply as a need to have sex. Um, I understand how easy it is to interpret spiritual things and higher energies physically, in physical terms. And so I just understand how many people are moving through this process. And I understand that a large percentage of them aren't aware of it. And I understand uh, the pain and discomfort and confusion that can result from not being aware of exactly what's happening. I went through all of that, and I just want to help lessen it. I just want to help lessen it for anybody that I can. And so it came to me to make a video about what it feels like when the higher energies, the higher selves, the higher aspects are merging with the physical aspect, with me, with you. I'm often taken through this process really slow. Uh, it can happen just in a moment, but for some reason, likely due to any lingering sense of uncomfortability in me as it happens, um, I'm often taken through it in ultra slow motion. So it'll take 2-3 hours, sometimes more, for the merging to take place. When things happen rapidly, it's very easy to not be able to pick up on many of the details. Uh, you know that something's happening, and you can describe it as it happens fast, but you can't quite tell where you still have issues, where you might be comfortable, where you're not so comfortable. You may not be able to word the entirety of the event. And so that's one really great thing about it happening at this pace. It doesn't happen too fast for you. It happens at your leisure. You're able to see absolutely everything.